Now, as far as what I really wanted to talk about tonight, was this Nikko Jenkins, who a lot of people know. Now, I'm going to briefly, for those of y'all who are not in Omaha, who may have never heard of this Nikko Jenkins, but you probably have because it made national news for quite some time. He's a convicted murderer. He killed 4 people here in our city, and after going to trial and everything, he was sentenced to death row. Now, Nikko Jenkins, he has a long criminal history, a long criminal past. Starting at the age of 7, he brought a loaded 25 caliber handgun to his elementary school. At age 11, I'm just giving you a little background about him. He was kicked out of a group home for repetitive violence. He had stopped attending school. By age 13, he had committed multiple assaults, including 1 knife assault. He was sent to prison in 2003 for 2 armed carjackings after spending time in a youth detention facility. So that was after spending time in a youth detention. While incarcerated, he was charged twice for a riot, which happened in 2006, as well as assaulting a prison guard while on furlough for his grandmother's funeral. So that just gives you just a little background information about him. But as far as what he's in jail for now, he had committed 4 murders. They occurred within a month. He was on they said, he's an American spree killer. Because of the fact he committed 4 murders, all in Omaha, Nebraska. This was in August 2013, all within 1 month. A lot of you people who live in Omaha, especially if you're from the hood, you know exactly who this person is. You might be related to him. You might be a friend of them. You know who I'm talking about, Nikko Jenkins. But the murders that he committed, all 4 of them, he committed them after he had been released from prison. He was in prison for 10 and a half years. He was supposed to be in there for 21 years, but he served 10 and a half years due to the carjacking, committed at age 15, and for the assaults, committed in prison. If anything, you guys remember or probably have not forgotten or can associate with this Nikko Jenkins is the fact that he tried to plead insane. Him and his lawyer tried to use the insanity plea. He has always said that he serves this ancient god, this ancient serpent god by the name of Apophis. I hope I'm saying that right. Apophis. But the judge was like, you ain't about to play crazy up in here. You ain't about. And he did a lot of crazy stuff too. When that was going on back then, they were saying a lot of things that he was doing, as far as, him and, talking crazy, just outside of his head, he really tried it. He really tried it. The insanity plea, but it didn't work. So anyway, he got sentenced to death row. And some people have said, okay, so he's getting married, what's the big deal? On the other side, I'm just looking at this fiance, and I'm looking at her. She looks like a normal, average woman, who has fell in love with a prisoner on death row. Ladies, I'm going to need y'all to chime in for real. I'm going to need y'all to chime in because a lot of people is looking at this like, what the heck? It's one thing to date somebody or fall in love with somebody or hang on to somebody on the outside when they serve in time and they coming home. They coming home. One day they coming home. You're going to be able to cook for them. You're going to be able to go out with them, watch movies with them, be in your own bedroom with them, your own boom boom room with them. Do a lot of stuff. Take the kids to the park, go to the grocery, normal everyday activities that people in jail cannot do. But when they're on death row and you weren't married or dating them before they got sentenced to death row, this lady, let me tell you about this lady. She's a Texas woman, and she's making preparations to marry Nikko Jenkins, the Omaha serial killer who's on death row right in Nebraska. Her name is Dawn Arguello. She's 46 years old, and she has served as a volunteer for a nonprofit inmate advocacy group. This is where they met. She fell for Nikko Jenkins. And most criminals, as far as men, most criminals, oh my God, they are so suave. They can be romantic. They can be cunning, convincing. They can, they really can put it on a woman. They really can put it on a woman without putting it on the woman. You know what I mean? Anywho, she fell in love with him. She says she isn't happy also by the way that he's portrayed by the local press. She's blaming the media for how he's being portrayed as like one of the most hated guys in Nebraska, after, besides Charles Starkweather, who was a serial murderer. He killed 11 people, back, in the 50s. She claims, oh, he's nobody like that. He's nobody like that. That's what she's telling the press. So the media, not his murders, not anything he went to prison for, not carjacking, not bringing guns to school at the age of at 7 years old, none of that, none of that destroyed his image. None of that. But the media destroyed his image. But, she says he has feelings. He's very sensitive. He's very smart. And then she said, and I did say this a little bit earlier, right? How some men who are convicted of murder and things like that, really bad crimes, they're very manipulating, very convincing. When it comes to dating or being with a woman, it's kind of like, split personality, kind of. When it comes to, their relationship wise, I don't know. I would love to talk to his ex-wife though, if they're even exes, because I heard that they're allegedly still married. And if yeah, so somebody said gangsters need love too. And again, I had mentioned something like that before. Like, some people, they go to prison, they do really horrible things, and then their life might change and they still need support, things like that. But I don't know about him. I don't know if any good can come out of this man before he is killed, before he is murdered. Because again, he is on death row. So I don't know. I don't know. Somebody said, what a sad, weak lady. She's also stupid and dumb at the same time. Somebody said she just wants the attention. And somebody said there's no words. They just like just shaking my head, just shaking my head. They ain't got nothing to say about it. Nothing to say about it. So those are a few of the comments that came from the post when I posted it earlier, to just get a little feedback about this story. But yeah, Nikko Jenkins is probably going to get married real soon. And I'm just looking at his pictures. Just looking at this man pictures. I wouldn't want to. She talking about marrying him. I wouldn't want to be in the same room with him. Sure. If I was his attorney, I want him handcuffed to the table, chain, feet, legs, his chain him by the throat so he can't even lurch his head at me. I mean, that man just looked scary. He just looked like, and then he tried to plead insanity. They said he was able to, be tried as a sane person, as a regular old person who didn't murder 4 people, but a regular old person. But I know something is wrong with this man. Something is seriously wrong with this man. And I'm sure the family members of the people that he murdered when he went on his killing spree after serving 10.5 years, I'm sure they are very, very satisfied with the outcome of his trial and him being sentenced to death. But